Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne. Good girl! Get it! Get that ball! And your squeaky ball, squeaked by Kiri. And also disembodied voice, Justin. So yes, it's me. Hi, Sales. Hey, everybody. Squeak! Yes, exactly, D. Clearman. Yes. The Kiri is happy. I had to actually get delayed. You were delayed for an extra 30 seconds because she was sitting there shaking her blanket in her mouth and, like, pawing at things in the corner. So I had to go and rescue the squeaky ball, which is why you were all graced with squeaky ball this morning. Yeah, good girl. Good girl getting that ball. That's right. Murder it. I think she did murder the other one, actually. I haven't found the corpse yet, but I'm pretty sure. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to, is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday! It will hereby be, Hedgehog Wednesday, because I was going to, oh, Wikipedia, you're asking for money again, but I don't want to give you money again. Okay, hedgehogs are cute. First rule of thumb is that hedgehogs are adorable. So, if we were going to paint this hedgehog, I'm gonna say probably russet brown, and then highlight it with a bit of driftwood, and maybe a little bit of ivory, and then we probably want to hit the little spikes on his back with ivory. That's what I'm thinking. Hedgehogs are adorable. So we're painting adorable hedgehogs today. Your cats are interested in the squeakies. They would like to play squeaky ball with Kiri. Kiri used to be best friends with my cat, Mama-san's son. I owned Mama-san's son. His name was Panther. He was black and sleek and very large. He was a 14-pound cat. Very thin 14-pound cat. Yes, Monday number 3. Yeah, so Kiri used to play with him, and it was hilarious. I tried to get video of it one day, because I'd never seen a cat and a dog play like this before, but the room didn't have the best lighting, so I couldn't really get any decent video of it. But what they used to do is they actually used to play chase and fight. So Kiri would, like, play bow, and Panther would rush her, and he would fling himself up. And this, Kiri's a 75-pound dog. She's not little. This cat would just fling himself onto her neck and grab her around the neck and kick her in the chest with his hind paws. And then he would fling himself off of her and run into the bedroom. And she would chase him, and then they would run back, and they'd do it all over again. I've never seen a dog and a cat play like that, ever. It's very silly. So, Panther has passed now. But Kiri was a very good, Kiri's always been good with other animals. Let's see, there's my russet brown. Yeah. So it was adorable, to see my huge dog and my huge cat, actually, technically, playing together. Because I've had dogs and cats get along before. Yeah, my eyeballs are just, like, weeping today. Must be something in the air. But I've never seen them, like, roughhousing, right? I've never seen a cat and a dog roughhouse like that before. But yeah, so Kiri and Panther were friends. In fact, when Kiri had her first litter of puppies, Panther came out, like, into the main room, which he usually wouldn't because he didn't like some of the other dogs, but he actually came out into the room, and came and sat in the doorway of the whelping box to look at Kiri with her new puppies. Which was definitely, he didn't like that area of the house, so that was a Panther being supportive. It was pretty cool. So those are my old Panther and Kiri stories. I don't know. I haven't started anything worthwhile, though. We looked at a cute picture of a hedgehog. I told cute dog and cat stories. That's where we're at. That's where our progress is today. Woohoo! It is the last day of the month, meaning that I am going to be doing an awful lot to finish up editing on the videos that I shot for you guys for the $15 tier, so we can finish our Dragonkin. Then I get to post up that awesome, hey, we're done with Dragonkin thing. He's almost done. He's so close. Just have to base him. Talk about basing. I think we're going to use these guys for Hedgehog. So, 91.99 russet brown, which Ed better not have canceled, or I'm going to go after him with a knife. Maybe just a butter knife. It would hurt more, right? To quote the old Robin Hood movie. Driftwood and creamy ivory. And this is a good, weirdly, though they are very different, this is a good triad, especially if you do 50-50 mixes. Oh, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if the word on high has come down about the paints yet. Dustin, do you know? I have not Justin's been in and out talking to Collins guys and stuff in the studio, so he may not be available. Oh, official statement not out. Yeah, thanks, Quindy. Somebody would know. Somebody would be in the know. Somebody would be stalking the internet for us, seeking to keep us informed. Alrighty. Okay, I have essentially mixed. Now, russet brown is a lot stronger than driftwood. It just is. It's really loaded with pigment, which is why it's such a great brown. Is that it's a very high coverage and it's really rich. I've muted it out just a little bit here. What I'll do essentially, if I want anything lighter than this, is I'll have to really front load it with driftwood brown first, and then just put a little bit of the russet into it, because russet is very strong. Yeah, darn Customs. Oh, Jetta, did you miss the news? Yeah, there's going to be some cancellations. Yes, it's using a spoon. I know, Val, I know, but I like my spoons. Don't want to abuse them that way. Alright, let's get some good granny glasses on so I can see something, and we'll get in focus. Yeah, Collins, you know, he does things like stealing disembodied voices. Everybody thinks Collins is sweet and innocent, but we know the truth. There we are. Excellent. Hello, little hedgehogs. You're adorable. Well, at least I've impressed on everybody that 90.99 is a necessary color, or 91.99 is a necessary color, and therefore it is safe for the moment. I'm just sad because I've done a bunch of PDFs and they used those, you know, a lot of them use those canceled colors. Like the dark skin, the drow skin, when I talk about dark elf skin, talks about dusky skin. And not only dusky skin, but volcano brown is out, I think, so. So all of the options for doing that sort of thing without doing a lot of mixing are done. I'll have to figure out what to do. Well, at least by doing this, Reaper has given me PDF material for the next, you know, 6 months as I figure out how to substitute and mix these suckers. Yeah, Jetta, there's going to be a lot of cancellations. We don't have the official word on it, so we're not really trying to dwell on it here in chat. There was a lot of speculation yesterday and a lot of angst, and pretty much told people that just, you know, if they're upset about it, and just let Reaper know they're upset about it. And it may not change anything, but at least you've said your piece, and the company will know that its customer base was unhappy. I mean, I think that's valuable information for a company to know, personally. And to reiterate my comments from yesterday, do be nice about it. I mean, you know, if you're going to say, hey, we'd really love some advance notice and the opportunity to buy the paints in advance before they go away next time, you know, say it just like that. Say it nice. All the respect, right? It's okay to, like, share your views as long as you're respectful. Okay, that's cool, Quindy. Thanks for keeping the eye out. Well, usually this sort of thing isn't leaked from Reaper unless it's true. I mean, Ed is pretty, you know, savvy about the market, and cancellations are always something that make a large impact on the market, so. Alright, I figured that I would also touch up her shoes because they needed it. Hey, Twisted Oma. Great, it's welcome back to the gang. I'm going to, so what I've got here now, guys, is I've also got some black and brown. Black and brown is, like, probably not the best shadow for russet. I don't know, I'd have to figure out the best shadow for russet. But it's close. It's close. Walnut might be a little bit better. This just is a bit reddish, but I need it just to put some shadows on our boots, so we're just doing that. And this is driftwood with just a little bit of russet in it, and as we go, we'll add in more. I just want to get that stuff out of frame so that we can concentrate on what we're doing. And what I really wanted to do is add a little shading to her boots. And this is where I have no problem, like, repeating colors, guys, by the way. So, a lot of painters, especially beginning painters, might look at this and go, oh, I can't have the hedgehogs be the same color as the boots. Nonsense. You can have the hedgehogs be the same color as the boots, and you probably should. Seeking all over just to make things different colors, just to make them different colors, is silly if they should be the same color. And in this case, I almost always take my boots dark brown because I never want the eye to focus on them. Boots are not important things, usually. I'm trying, Jetta. I'm trying. She's really that close to the... I mean, the flowers I might have to finish the flowers and maybe the leaves. I don't know. I'm going to try to do hedgehogs and boots and do them relatively efficiently. And then, if we get that done relatively efficiently, we will move on to the flowers and plants. I should have probably done the flowers and plants yesterday because I think I do want them to be yellow, or at least a little bit yellow when I was doing yellow yesterday, but this is the price of me not being organized as much as I should be. So yes, we're going to try. We're going to try. It depends on how distracted we get. We got very distracted yesterday. So the boots and the hedgehogs can be the same color because the hedgehogs are going to be highlighted in a very different manner than the boots will be. Oh no, Twistedoma. But yeah, I'm trying, what I'm trying to do this week, Jetta, is I'm trying to finish things. Like, I'm trying to really, this next couple weeks, because I want to introduce a couple of new models to the stream, but I feel like I've got too many things going on right now for the stream, so I want to finish a couple of these guys that have been really pending. Plus, I promised Ron that he could have this one yesterday, so I want to finish it. So once they're base coated, we can see these little guys a little better. Wow, is that a mold line going over that tiny hedgehog? I might have to deal. Val, I was just talking about that yesterday, how it needs to not glow. It needs to not glow because when you've got a paint job that you are perfectly happy with, that you did not paint with a glow in mind, you don't want to go messing it up by making a glow all over everything. Like, I would go from liking this model to hating it in 0.2 seconds. If I messed up all my skin tones, my hair highlights, my skin highlights, and everything else, doing a glow effect. It's already a bright green. It's obviously a different green than the other leaves she has picked up. So, and it is not yet highlighted at all. I think it pops actually quite a lot when I look at the whole model. And especially once I highlight it with some clear yellow and really bring that green up so that it's, you know... I might put some, like, red streaks on it or something. I don't know. I haven't decided. It's very small, so... No, it's just like a heavy wash right now, Twistoma. I have not painted any of the leaves or the leaf or the flowers. And all I did was put kind of a loose wash of swamp green on the base. So, we have not done any of that yet. Vegetation is the last thing. I'm going to get my creamy ivory mixed up because I need that for hedgehog spikes and also to mix face highlights on this little hedgehog. And I need to decide what I'm going to do about the fact that I think there's a mold line on the face of this one hedgehog. And am I going to go and take my knife and go in there? I think I am. I don't want it to be there. I don't like small glowing effects because it's like, if you're gonna do a glow, do a glow. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could put some glow like on her fingers, I suppose. I'm just not a fan. Like, if I want to do a glow effect, I want to do a decisive glow effect and make it a light source. Otherwise, I feel like it's just, I mean, it would add to the story here, sure, but it's not what I wanted to do, so. You may do it yourself on your own Juliana if you wish. We have taken the mold line off. Yeah, Hudson, basing, you know, basing seems difficult until you learn just some basic, there's some basic materials that really help you, can really help with basing. And then there's a little bit more advanced stuff like sculpting rocks and things, which is actually not too hard. Like I sculpted rocks on Mr. Dragonkin here. So Mr. Dragonkin is actually standing on a rock. He comes with one, but then we sculpted extra rock and groundwork, and it wasn't too hard to do with green stuff, just to make some stuff extra. This is just base coated with a wash on it, but you get the idea. The other things that can really up your basing game are cork, because it helps you bulk out areas and raise up areas with minimal effort, and it's really lightweight, so it doesn't make your base super heavy. And I like sand and flock mixtures. Like, I tend just to use a mix of, like, static grass and flocking and sand and stuff like that, and maybe some like herbs or crushed herbs or something that gives it a little bit of leaf litter look to it. That sort of thing. And the other thing that I find I advise people to do, and not everybody agrees with me on this, but I always find that basing looks better when it's all painted. So if you're just putting basing materials down and you're not painting over them to make them go with the model better, that could be half the problem right there. Even static grass, I won't necessarily paint over static grass because of its nature, but I will absolutely like highlight the strands by doing a little bit of a dry brush or a side brush across the top. Actually, Rackham, we have a dark elf skin at Reaper. We have it in core, and we also had dusky skin, which I think that's one of the new canceled colors now. So it really depends on what school you are with Drow, because of course, various artists have done them in various ways. You could go with a very dark blue. You could go with a brownish purple, like a lot of people tend to like. You could go with a straight up, like, just normal humanoid dark skin tone, which we have, like, ebony flesh and the bones line. That might be a good paint for that. And, you know, I had a dark elf bust that I just painted here. I tended to go brown with a hint of purplish color. I like it to be like a naturalistic skin tone, but I don't mind having a little bit of weird, like, purple or blue, you know, going on in the shadows. So, but it's a personal preference. I mean, they're very personal preference. Different artists have done them very differently. And I tend to look at the artwork. Oh, pardon me, guys. Gotta get a Kleenex to wipe off my paint pokey tool. My walnut was having some clog issues. But, yeah, I mean, our dark elf skin triad is a purpley gray. But, I mean, any dark skin, normal dark skin would also work fine. And it depends on what you want. It also depends, thank you. It also depends on what other colors you have on the miniature. Like, if you're going to have, like, sometimes if you're going for that purple gray, like, the dark red might not look so good. Like, a bright red might not look so good. So if you're going, like, with a bright red dress on a drow, you might want not to go with our dark elf skin triad. You might want to go with a more natural dark brown, because it'll work better with a bright red. So you gotta think about that stuff too. Yeah. And that's the problem with Ettins and Hill Giants, though. Like, it's not your fault, Hudson. Ettin and Hill Giants, there's just so much brown, and it's hard to... Often they're sculpted, obviously, in hides, and so it's really hard to find a place to put a color accent on them. I'm gonna do the little hedgehog face. You gotta do the little hedgehog face lighter than the rest of the hedgehog. We've learned this. So I want to get his little snout lighter. But yeah, I mean, and you can, I mean, the problem there is that if you try to introduce color in the basing, you're attracting attention to entirely the wrong type of the model, wrong part of the model. You don't want to put some brighter color in the basing and then have the Ettin be all brown, and then everybody just looks at the base and goes, what a great base. And you're like, not what I was going for. Yes. Oh, now no one have made 99%. I think I'll have dropped to like 97 Shadow Raven. Because if we cancel colors and then Sadie keeps making them, then slowly the Ann paint will be shifted. The Ann percentage will shift. That's all right. I actually have my ReaperCon colors, the pirate colors. I was gonna actually whip some of those out and give them a trial run in the future. Yeah. Yeah, that makes it hard, Hudson. That makes it real hard. I mean, you can do colored leather. That's what I often will do, is like, I'll do a dark red on the leather or on some of the leather with those models, because oxblood is, they could use blood to primitively dye leather. It's actually quite feasible. Just looking at they probably wouldn't have anything like colored, like really bright colored, but they could have a paler leather, or they could have like a dark red colored leather, and I think that's very believable. While I'm here, I'm also gonna highlight the soles of these boots. Just want to get a little bit of highlight there to make them look correct, and I want to highlight the top of them as well. Since the sunlight is coming down, we've already established we want her to be in a sunlight glade, and that means putting highlights on leather as well. Pretty strong ones. In fact, I'll probably whip out my yellow and put some yellowy highlights on these brown boots. Now, I don't know what hedgehogs are doing out in the sun, because I thought that hedgehogs weren't big fans of the sun. Maybe that's just me misremembering. Oh, is the rose gold going away, Satan's? Is that one of the ones? I mean, they've said that they'll probably bring these colors back from time to time for special events and cons and stuff. So all I can say is if there's one you are feel extremely strongly about, then you should talk a lot about wanting it back on social media and Reaper live chat and all the rest of it, so that when Reaper goes to make a decision, and on Sadie's show too, so that when Reaper goes to make a decision on bringing back one of these paints for a limited time for a special event, they'll have heard you say, oh, please bring back Swamp Green about 50,000 times, and then they'll do it. Or at least they'll have a reason to do it, because they'll have heard you say it. So things like that, guys. We cannot change. And like I said, I totally see why this stuff is happening, because our paint line is really bloated. It's really huge. It's filling up a ton of space, and a lot of it just doesn't sell very fast, right? So I understand why Ed is doing it. Alrighty, got our little paler snouts on these guys. They are nocturnal, that's what I thought. So these are weird magical hedgehogs that for some reason are hanging out in the daytime. I'm gonna take some. What was that, Justin?
A little bit of light to shine on the canceled paint thing. We talked briefly about it this morning before we started a ReaperCon meeting session. By the way, today was first session. Next
Uh-oh.
DigitalCon, a little bit of a spoiler there.
Ah.
That is coming. It's on the horizon. We don't have a date or anything yet, but anyway, we did talk briefly about the paint thing, and I believe Ed's going to come up with a like a write up on it.
Okay.
To kind of answer everyone's questions and address some stuff.
Cool.
I don't know when that'll be out, so people will have, I believe, a formal explanation at some point.
Okay.
I just don't know when, so I can offer that much solace at least.
All right. Cool. Super cool. My dog lid is restless, so I may have a cure emergency shortly, but for now I'm going to continue putting in little hedgehog spikes. Here, let's get closer to the hedgehog spikes. Boop. Tiny hedgehog spike. Oh, yeah, my dog has a dog emergency. Okay, so you can talk more about that DigitalCon thing while I go and take the dog out. I'll be right back, everybody. There is our little Julie, and I'm going to put her in focus just for you guys while I'm gone. Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna say this again, guys. I don't think you want me to paint. Um, yeah, if I paint, it's legitimately going to it's gonna look awful. It's gonna look like I used my finger when I used a brush. It's pretty bad. It's not good. But I am one step closer. You guys might be happy to know. I am one step closer to grabbing an airbrush and you know doing old Gorma. Now, I will say this: do you guys have any interest? If I were going to film my initial impression and or use of the Vex airbrush and using it on Gorma, is that something you guys would want to see? Am I not talking close enough into the mic here? Do I need to get closer? Sorry, Twisted. Is this better? Because I don't. I'm also talking very low in the studio too. Okay. Well then maybe I'll film it then. I don't think I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna film it. and it'll be as organic as it can possibly be. Is it better when I get really close like this? My mouth is actually touching the pop filter. So is this a little more sultry? Not that I'm aiming for that for you guys, but I was just curious. Oh no, Quindy. I'm not gonna do it with organic materials. If I were going to, though, Bug Lips would be the one supplying said materials, and it would be a partner project. Thank you, Icky. Oh my, that's great. That's the thing too. I don't have a compressor yet. So if someone wants to send me, since you guys are all my subject matter experts at this point, um, does someone here want to send me on Discord like an example of a compressor I should get? For this, like an optimal like starting compressor. I don't need anything super fancy, but something that I could purchase that I know is going to be reliable. And in case you're curious, I am Reaper Justin on the Reaper Discord. So you guys feel free to direct message me a link for that. That would be amazing. If you find time, I'm not requiring you to do it, but oh, Twisted, it's gonna be. That's what I mean. It's gonna be as organic as it could possibly be, as far as what it looks like. I won't Photoshop anything. It's gonna be 100% what it looks like. Oh, I see, Hudson. Okay. Well, Shadow Raven, I like that idea.
Sorry, peeps. The Curie
You know
butt.
what? You're right, Quindy. I am a particular blowhard. I hear that I blow really hard, so that would work really well.
At least you don't
I've
suck.
been told. I don't suck. I just blow hard. All right, I'll hand this show back over to Anne, which is probably better anyway.
I don't even want to know, guys. I don't even want to know. I don't know. I know how you got there. But hopefully my dog will settle down now. Settle down, doglet. The doglet is being silly. Yeah, I'm just gonna not do that. All right, cool. Yeah, well, Curie's butt. It blows up on occasion. We deal with it. Let me see here. I was thinking about hedgehog eyeballs and how you want to make them stand out a little bit, even though the hedgehog is dark brown. And one thing you can do is use blue liner, because it's a different sort of black, and it can make these tiny little hedgehogs stand out a little bit more. Come on, hedgehog. There. You, to be fair, you don't want to know either. Yes, exactly. That's always the peril of me handing the show over to Justin when I have a Curie emergency. So you may find out things that you really don't want to know. At least Curie had the grace to blow up early into the show today. There we go. So I'm going to put little blue liner eyes on those guys. And then I'm going to highlight them by putting white and blue liner. And this will make those eyes, one, look slightly blue. Two, they'll really make them stand out next to the, that one's really cute. The one I've done the little spikes on is really adorable. All right, I need to do more spikes. Hi, Sarge. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. I am Anne. I worked for a very long time for Reaper Miniatures, making the Master Series paint line. And then I moved out west to be with my guy, and now I am here working for Reaper remotely, doing this show every day. And we talk about painting Reaper Miniatures. And I talk a lot about the paint and how to use it and techniques and stuff. Right now we are doing tiny little spikes on tiny little hedgehogs on a model that is called Juliana the Herbalist. And here's Juliana. She is looking skeptically at a plant. She is almost done. I am attempting to finish things this week. Here's her card. So she's a bones model, so she's plastic. So, I mean, she's, I think she's bones black, though. Yeah, 4/4 numbers are bones black. So she is plastic, but she is pretty durable plastic. So we're working on her tiny little hedgehog friends here, trying to make them look cute. Yeah, we're pretty chill here. This is a pretty chill stream. But yeah, we do this every morning, 11:30 a.m. Central to 1 p.m. Central, USA time. And I work on all sorts of models. I was working on a fire giant. I'm working on a rock troll. I'm working on a couple of characters like this one. I try to mix it up so that we can talk about different things and different topics. And I can show people how to do different stuff. I have won awards for miniature painting, nationally and internationally, so I have been around the block, so to speak. But I try to always make my tips beginner friendly as well. So wherever you are on your painting journey. Oh, good. I'm glad you love all the products. Fantastic. I love to hear it because since I made the paint line, I always love to hear that people like it. And that they enjoy using it. So there's our little hedgehog friend. He's so cute. Oh, thanks, Sentimental. How's it going down there in Texas? How are you guys holding up? The old paint club crew. There we go. Tiny little spikes for the tiny little hedgehog. And remember, we actually looked up hedgehog pictures because when you are trying to paint a critter, it helps if you know what it looks like. So that's why we did the dark brown to start. See? He's a little more reddish maybe, or this picture is just an overcast day, so he's a little blue. But dark underneath and then light on the tips. And then the, kind of a faded out brown for the face with little black eyes. A little black nose. I need to put a little nose on there. Almost forgot my nose. And this is why you always want to have a reference photo. Finally getting cool. Oh, good. That's good. I'm glad things are going well with you and Oni.
Thank you, Twisted, for welcoming Sarge. Also, everyone say hi to Sarge. He's new, or she's new.
He, she.
But thank you for stopping by there, Sarge. This is, we have a lot of fun here, don't we, Anne?
Yes. That's Disembodied Voice Justin that you hear, Sarge. Disembodied Voice Justin handles all of our, internet production stuff. Videography and the shows on Twitch and doing putting the YouTube videos up and all that sort of stuff. I did paint this figure entirely on stream, by the way, Sarge. So if you like her, you could go over to Reaper's YouTube and search her under her item number. You should be able to find all of the episodes featuring her, including how I did the stripy dress and all the rest. We did the yellow yesterday. All right, I'm going to take our blue liner. I'm going to make a little shiny black nose. Well, it's not shiny yet, but it will be. Boop. Come on. Boop. Yay! We have a little nose. Oh, it's adorable, guys. That's adorable. All right. I give up. Bobby Jackson, you win. You win the internet for these tiny hedgehogs. Just for today. Yeah. Well, I started at 9, but I know people at Paint Club, a family, there's a family at Paint Club that comes that started their kids at 5, Trixie Kitty. And then actually their eldest, Maud, when she got to be like 9, 10, she was actually already really good. It was kind of astonishing. I'm like, man, maybe I should have started painting miniatures at age 5 instead of age 9. But of course, at that point, miniatures hadn't existed. Not really. All right, I'm going to just highlight these little eyeballs by mixing some blue liner with white. And putting a little tiny highlight on them, which brings some life into them. And also, suggests a slightly different color. There we go. Tiny little highlight. So cute. So cute. Terribly cute. Aw, thanks for gifting that sub there, Val. That's very nice of you. Ah, kids have been e-learning, so you're home painting. That's awesome. Yes, adorable hedgehog. adorable hedgehogs. We have finally gotten to them. All right, I think that hedgehog is done. Now I need to work on this guy. This guy's a little bigger. It's a bit of a bigger hog.
Are you going to finish that up on stream today?
I'm going to try. I have flowers to do and stuff, so I still have a little bit of a way to go, and leaves. But it's close. It's very, very close. I really want to be done. It might drag into tomorrow. I don't know. If it, I did warn people that it might go till tomorrow, because I don't know how many colors I'm going to be able to do today. Yeah, this one is a little bit, this one's eyes are a little bit bigger. He looks a little bit more stern. I'll put a nose on him. Maybe he'll be cuter with the nose. He is a bigger one, though. The littlest ones are always the cutest. There he is. All right, yes, with his little nose, he's adorable. So I need to make his eyes a little bit... His eyes are big. And I probably just need a little bit more of a sharp highlight. Itty bitty chibi. The cuteness summoned a chibi, Amy. Yes, it's true. Yeah, this is the modern broccoli base. You know, Bobby Jackson, I think, is one of the original creators of the broccoli base. I adapted to summer pretty well, but I don't like the cold sentimental, so I'm just, like, looking at the coming winter out here and, like, you know, skeptically saying, how cold are you gonna get, California winter? Not very, I hope. But it'll be rainier, and I like rainy days. So I'm actually looking forward to kind of winter out here. This might finally be the state that makes me like winter, guys. Like I've in all the other areas of the country that I've lived, my favorite season has been different in all of them. So like in Wisconsin, it's definitely summer. Summer is the season to love in Wisconsin, because you certainly don't love winter, and really those are the only two seasons. And then you know when I lived out on the East Coast, it was definitely autumn. It was fall all the way, because it lasts forever in Maryland and in Virginia, Northern Virginia. It's like they actually get 3 months of autumn. I'd never experienced that in my life. And the weather's gorgeous. So I really loved autumn when I was out east. And then when I was in Texas, springtime, all the time. Springtime has such beautiful weather in Texas. It was just lovely, a lovely smell and a lovely feel to step out of the house in the morning in spring in Texas. And so here, I don't know. I mean, the summer's been pretty good. The spring, I only got half a spring, so I really can't judge spring out here yet. I know, David, you've lived out here for a while. What's your favorite season? Given you lived in San Francisco proper for a while rather than here in Mountain View, but... Or are you busy? He's thinking.
I mean, summer is nice for the weather, and winter is nice because you can go skiing.
That's right.
I like skiing.
As a skier, you are biased. Although that's not really the weather here. That's the weather up at Tahoe or, you know, wherever else you ski.
Like, it's a little... I mean, it's not as nice as it is in the summer. It's going to be, like, 50s and chilly some days. But it's not terrible.
Okay.
And in exchange, you get to go up to the mountains and go skiing.
I see. David is fixated on skiing.
I don't know if I'm going to get to go skiing really this year.
Yeah, it depends on how they adapt, right?
Yeah.
The only season you have in the New Orleans area is seasoning. It's funny. Yeah, we had to put on the AC again this week because it was so hot. You like fall in San Francisco, Jelly? Well, good. I look forward to seeing it then.
Well, fall in San Francisco is the best because summer is not really summer and fall is the warmest season in San Francisco.
Yeah, which was weird when I visited you that first year.
But South Bay is like a completely different climate.
Yeah, we have a different climate than San Francisco proper, so that's why I'm curious. Because I did come out to visit. My first visit to David was in November, early November, and the weather was beautiful in San Francisco proper. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how it is out here. I like exploring new places, so I like seeing the seasons and how they are. The Bay Area doesn't have weather, it has climate. I don't know, it has smoke. Yeah, it has microclimates, exactly. So I am looking forward to seeing what my particular microclimate is like. It's my new microclimate.
We have the best microclimate.
We have the best microclimate?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out. But yeah, I like the changing seasons, even when there isn't. I mean, there were some years in Texas where it really didn't get very cold, so it's not like I haven't lived in a place that's warm year round.
SF has the worst microclimate.
Oh, San Francisco, because it's cold so much, cold and wet.
Because it's cold during the summer.
Yeah. So when you feel that you should be getting warm weather, you're not.
Yeah, I feel like SF is too cold in the summer, and East Bay is too hot in the summer.
Okay.
And Mountain View is pretty much perfect.
Yeah, that's what Jelly's saying. Is I live in Sacramento, where it's blazing hot 90% of the year and freezing cold for 10% of the year. I don't know. When I visited Sacramento in the fall, it seemed really nice.
I think Jellyware has a distorted sense of what freezing cold is due to living in California.
Yes, this could be true. I mean, I like to think I have a well-rounded view of seasons now, since I've, grew up in Wisconsin, and I lived in the Baltimore area for, a year or so, and then I lived in Texas for 17 years, and now I'm out here. So I've had the really crazy hot, and I've had the really crazy cold, and of the two, I prefer the hot, because I'm weird, but I'm not a polar bear. I'm an anti-polar bear. We're doing the little spikes, guys. Remember, the tips of the little spikes are light colored. So we want to make sure that we use our creamy ivory to get those spikes in. Some of these spikes are sculpted a little bit differently than others. You lived in Maine for 2 years? That's also an interesting, that's more like Wisconsin, I'd like to say, only with more snow, Jelly? Today is not Halloween. It's not October yet. It's September. 1 month from now is Halloween. And it's a full moon on Halloween. And a blue moon Halloween. Which apparently you have to have. If you've got a full moon Halloween, you necessarily have a blue moon Halloween. But yes, it's not October yet. Reset your internal clock. You're confused. Yeah, exactly. Well, when you're used to cold, but it's just like some people just acclimate to cold better, and some just acclimate to warm better. And I grew up in cold, and I hated it. I hated it from the time I was a small child on. And then I moved to Texas, and I was much happier, even though it was blisteringly hot in the summer. Okinawa. You lived in Okinawa for 4 years. That's really cool, Xander. Every day is Halloween. Yes, this is true. It's when it turns October, then I'll turn on my Mercy Witch skin on Overwatch. I'll put on all my Halloween skins on my characters. Trying to get some little spikes down here. He's got a lot of spikes, and some spikes are narrow and some spikes are fatter. Yeah, and that may be part of it, Sarge, too, is I used to be pretty overweight, and then I lost a lot of weight, and I got cold. I get so cold now. Like, I always used to get cold and hated it, but now that I lost a bunch of weight, I'm worse. I'm much worse. Oh, Lord. It's like I actually exacerbated my weakness. I put an extra, cherry on top of it. I definitely have a vulnerability to cold. So if you're ever trying to, take down an Anne for XP, remember, I'm vulnerable to cold, but I'm very resistant to heat. Cool, Sarge. The only thing scary about Maine is Stephen King. Except that they've got, the King family at this point has, several houses. I think they've got one in Florida, and they've got one... They're not like Maine all the time like they used to be. I don't know how much time Stephen King spends in Maine anymore. The man is in the wonderful position of being able to live wherever he wants to, so... I have friends who live in Maine, from the dog world. A good friend of mine, Carla, who moved there, who really loves it. Her daughter opened a restaurant before all this COVID stuff happened, and they were happily, working on making a success of that. She used to live in Arizona, and she liked the climate in Maine much more, even with the winters. Yeah, Stephen King has a good rep. Like, when you have celebrity, even if you have, like, a tiny level of fame like me, you always want to be good to your fan base. And Stephen King just seems... I have never heard a bad thing about the man as far as meeting his fans. He is always happy to sign an autograph. He is, like... You know, just seems to be a really cool person, a very down-to-earth person. I listened to him on an interview once, and he had the funniest story that he was out to lunch. It was early in his career, but Bruce Springsteen really liked his writing, and he actually contacted him because he was in town and said, hey, let's do lunch. And Stephen King was like, oh my God, Bruce Springsteen. Because in the 80s, Bruce Springsteen was, oh my God, he was like, you know, the Elvis of the day. And so they were out to lunch, and toward the end of lunch, you know, Stephen had kind of been noticing there were some people hovering, right? Like, obviously wanting to ask for autographs and just hadn't quite done it yet. But as they were getting up, the people came up, and Bruce saw them, and it kind of gave Stephen King this kind of little eye roll and got out a Sharpie. And the people came up and went, oh my God, are you Stephen King? And totally ignored Bruce Springsteen. One of Stephen King's favorite autograph stories. I think that's awesome. That's super fantastic. Let's see here. Ooh, living off the coast of Maine on an island. Yeah, that does sound like it would be cold, but it does sound like pretty awesome also. Oh, Ghoulie Bag's out tomorrow. We did find I think it was Rhonda, actually, who enabled us to, Rhonda Bender, who enabled us to reproduce Hallowed Orange. She actually had an old bottle of it, and she sent it in so that we could match the color. So the Hallowed Orange coming out should be a match for the actual old original Hallowed Orange. So thanks to Rhonda. And for those of you who didn't know, Rhonda has a Patreon. It's new. She's using it to kind of fund her blog because she puts a lot of time and effort into her blog posts, and her blog is excellent. Bird with a Brush is, of course, her name on streams and such, and Patreon. So patreon.com/birdwithabrush. And the nice thing is, if you sub at the $4 level, you get PDFs of all of her blog entries, and she's able to use much higher resolution images in those, so they're very nice. So yeah, you should totally go and support her on Patreon. She's only got 2 levels. She's not quite sure where she wants to take the Patreon yet. She mostly just wanted to pay for, you know, her time and effort that she puts into the blog. And she has a post about it on her blog. So yeah, if you haven't gone over and sub, if you have a couple bucks a month, sub to Rhonda. She totally deserves it. She's awesome. I'm glad she decided to do the Patreon thing because we talked about it a while ago, and I knew she was on the bench about it. Wasn't sure what she wanted to do, but yeah, I'm really happy that she's going now. I'm just using this brown to quickly highlight the leather here on the straps of her handle as well, guys. Just a little bit of a highlight. I didn't really have much of a highlight on it before, so just adding a little bit. Probably need to glaze that down a little bit. It's a little bit stark. Yeah, thank you, Nomad Zeke, for the, and Quindy for the link to Rhonda's Patreon. Yeah, I supported her as well. Whenever one of my friends starts up a Patreon, and, you know, and it's cool, it's awesome to support them. Because a lot of them supported me, too, when I started painting big on my Patreon. Rhonda and Derek both did. And cool people like my man, you know, with the moral support, David, and Michael Kleiman, who also teaches at ReaperCon, who is awesome also. So yeah, it's always great. I mean, it makes us all feel good, despite, you know, not only does it help pay for our time when we're doing all this content for you guys, but it's, you know, it's just nice to feel the support. We love to feel the love. So people's support on Patreon equals love. Love that we can actually see. It's very cool. Also love that helps us pay for dog treats and things like that. Or in Rhonda's case, cat treats. Or maybe husband treats, I'm not sure. You are the #2 Patreon patron. Awesome, Jelly. Yeah, I kind of like, actually, I wish Patreon would do, and you can actually, you can go and look up who your first patrons are. And I've been thinking about doing this, because I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary. But just to recognize my oldest patrons who are still with me. Twitch is cool because it gives you that little first banner, first icon in front of your name when you're an early person on the Twitch stream. I like that. I almost wish Patreon would do that, but it doesn't really give you icons or anything in front of your name on Patreon, so I guess it's not really quite their thing. Yes, exactly. Well, and presumably people are, also getting, value out of it. Rhonda has excellent, like, I love her latest terminology PDF, like talking about local color and stuff, which is, it's the way that artists put things, and miniature painters tend to not do as, to go in for as many art terms as traditional artists do, but it's a very useful concept to know. And in reality, you know it and you use it without realizing it. I'm just lightening up this little guy's face. I love this little tiny hedgehog back here. This little one is my favorite. The one hiding behind the bag. This front one is a little bit, his spikes come up a little bit closer, so I'm not getting as much of his face, but he is cute too. Though he looks a little bit alarmed, probably because there's a scythe right above him. Oh, out of focus. In focus, yay. Yeah, his eyes are a little bit bigger, so he's a little bit more alarmed. I think I'm going to blend in his snout a little bit, and then he'll be good. And then we can move on to the next thing. Blend in snout. I think that's part of it. Yeah, Shadow Raven. I think the best person that I've ever listened to talk about this particular thing, like figuring out what you love to do, is Jen Sincero, who writes a set of self-help books, which I think are the best self-help books out there, almost, just because they're funny. The series is called You're a Badass. She has the You're a Badass, and then she has You're a Badass at Making Money. And they're just good motivational books, whether you buy into her ideas or not. But she was one of those people who was in her 40s before she figured out what she really wanted to do, and she wobbled around for decades just whining about not knowing what she wanted to do with her life. So she's pretty much like, look at the things you enjoy and then take a step in that direction. And it might be the wrong step, but at least you're taking a step. And if you've taken the right step, then it will lead you it'll slowly lead you toward what you want to actually be doing. And she has an excellent point there. So the important thing is to take the step in the first place, instead of just sitting there going, what do I want to do? Like, if you know that, like, say you like working with people and, you're good at numbers, or that you prefer the company of animals and you're good at staying organized, or, you have writing skills, or you have, you can make kind of a list of the things that you've become good at over the years and ask yourself if if it's necessity or if you really enjoy those things, and, kind of figure it out that way. Look at yourself in terms of a general category. I'm glad you like her books too, Iggy. I like Jen a lot. I listen to her on audiobook when I walk. She's very good at reading her audiobooks. Shadows between the fingers on her scythe hand. I did lining. You can see the lining a little bit. It's faded out a bit. This hasn't been highlighted at all, the back of this hand. There's things that I'll do just to, like, make sure this is all brought up to standard, guys. A lot of times on the stream, I'll miss a part or whatever, and I might do that in person on commission models too, but then you do kind of a pass at the end to make sure that you've painted everything appropriately. I'm just not going to work on skin today. I just don't feel like it, so I'm going to get yellow out, and we're going to do flowers. Now, do we want to do white flowers with yellow middles, or do we want to do yellow flowers with purple middles? I kind of been going back and forth on that. Like, the white flower is nice and neutral. We could also do white with purple centers. What do you guys think? Do you have an opinion? Oh, Jen Sincero's You're a Badass books, Dragon Eye. Good motivational books. If you don't know what you want to do with your life, and you despair because you're getting older, she's a great one to listen to, because she was pretty much like hanging around in don't know what I want to do with myself land for many, many years. Yellow with purple centers. That's what I was originally going to do, Polaris, so let's go with that. Get my candlelight yellow out. I'm going to use the same yellows that I used for her apron, because I don't want to depart. If you use a color somewhere on a model, even if you're doing a slightly different thing, you reuse that color where you can. It helps to move the viewer's eye around the model. Okay, so I am going to do just a little bit of the Oops, wrong one. Polished leather is what I want, not rich leather. Rich leather just keeps trying to jump onto my palette. This color, it's so impertinent. All right, so polished leather is what we want because it's an orangey brown. You do want some shadows on flowers. So I am actually going to paint them the orangey brown first. And then I'm going to go over it. But I'm not going to do like lining between the petals, I think. I'm just going to let this polished leather kind of stand and go back in with the candlelight yellow. So even though this doesn't look like a very flower color, the flower would have shadows. So, yep, yellow with purple. Everybody wants that. Well, good. That's what we'll do. I'm going to get the flowers up here. And it is a sufficiently different brown to look very different up against the corner here. So even if the shadows, even if I can still see the shadow color after I put in the yellow, it'll be just fine. You just don't want to you always want to have a little bit of shading. Now I will line around the flowers where they're up against these leaves. So in this case, as far as our lining rules, I'm treating the flowers themselves as one surface rather than the individual petals, and I'm treating the leaves and the bag around them as another surface, so I'll put a line between those things. Polished leather color is like this one. It's very orange. It's a good leather highlight if you've got like a slightly darker leather. It's also just good if you're doing that kind of yellow buff leather, the kind of yellowed out leather. It's a good color for that as well. Just generally, it's a good oil skin like leather as well, especially if you paint it, if you shade it with a little bit of like this rich leather, which is a little bit more greenish. So good leather colors in bones. Alrighty, let's grab some walnut and do that lining to make these flowers stand out. As the bot. Yeah, I do a lot of dark leather. Like, I prefer dark leather. In general, you can see that I've done a lot of darker leather on this model already, especially when you're doing lighter or brighter colors. It helps to do dark leather to get some variance in it all. But yeah, Sarge, every once in a while you want, and I often don't even use these for leather. As you can see, I like the polished leather I really like as a base for yellow. But they do, when you do want a lighter leather, they do help. So I'm going to line back here. I already have a little bit of shading up here. I want this flower to stand out, so I'm putting a little bit of dark around it. One thing I could also do is just thin down this walnut and kind of put an extra shadow on the broccoli base around the flower and around her knees, which we kind of had before. It depends if the greens are next to like, you know, the green is next to all the brown here, so I think I used ruddy leather for this. So I've got two different leather colors here. I've got the ruddy leather base that I used up here, which I wanted a darker brown. I think I shaded that with black and brown because it's a really good shadow for ruddy leather. Then I went more natural with her boots and the hedgehogs. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the color is going to look different. With these guys, the color is going to look different no matter what. There's quite a difference between ruddy leather and, so I'm just going to thin down some walnut, put in some shadows here. I'm mostly going to just press my brush up against the flowers, and if I get a little bit of clumpy walnut up on these dark green leaves, it doesn't matter because I haven't highlighted and shaded the green leaves yet. So I can get a little messy and I don't have to worry about it. There. Flower on the bottom looks darker than the top. Yeah, I mean, probably, now that I've put walnut around both. It could also be that I put an extra layer of paint on the one on bottom. You never know. It's more likely to be just an extra layer of paint. because they're surrounded by, I mean, it could be that there's darker around this one for sure, so maybe they don't look that different to me. But I do think I did base coat the one on top a little later, so I mean, I could test it by putting another base coat up here, another layer of it. Oh no, I blurfed. Since this is just meant as a shadow color for the yellow, I'm not like really gonna mind about it if it gets a little bit different or if it isn't quite perfect. Doesn't matter, it's just a shadow color. All right, let's see here. I lost a little bit. I had a little bit of bleed over here because my liner, my leather crept up onto my leaf. There. I'll tame that back down with some walnut. All right. Poof, racks. All right, let's take our candlelight yellow. I'm going to use this darn near to full strength because I just want to really dot these little flower leaves, and then I want to mix it with white and make a little extra highlight with little details like this. You don't need much, but you should at least try to have a shadow, a midtone, and a highlight. Just 3 layers. 3 layers for small details. And that goes for things like buckles as well. It goes for things like the little handle of her scythe, you know, which has a shadow, a midtone, and a highlight. Whenever you're doing tiny details. So I have my shadow. I'm going to do my base. Which does make it stand out quite nicely. And this is a brighter color than the yellow up here, but once I highlight it, it's still going to resonate because it's still the color that we're using. I can get away with using a more saturated or brighter yellow down here as opposed to the apron because this is such a tiny flower versus the large amount of room the apron takes up. Remember when we did the apron yesterday, we had to actually tone it down by glazing a lighter color over it so that it wouldn't be too overpowering. But these little guys, little petals, they're so small, it really doesn't matter. Hey Trixie, how's it going? Yeah, the raccoons always show up fashionably late, I've noticed. Is that just a raccoon thing? I mean, I expect kitties to be fashionably late. Because, you know, they have their own time frames. Usually involving waking you up by jumping on your face at like 5 a.m. Typical cat time frame. Are you sure you want to capture that, Shadow Raven? I don't know. So the nice thing about keeping this a little bit thicker is that it really sticks where you put it. And it also is pretty solid. Like this is candlelight is a good coverage yellow. So we can thin it and still get a nice solid highlight there. I wonder. Now I want to do. Hey there, 07 Joe. 07 Joe Joe. I tend to shorten everybody's names. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We are painting tiny flowers in a tiny bag on a tiny person. It's what we do here. Welcome to the Reaper stream. I do this stream every day at around 9:30 a.m. Or sorry, my time is 9:30 a.m. Central. It's 11:30 a.m. Central time, Reaper time. 9:30 a.m. West Coast time. Sorry, my time. And do white first, because if we're going to go in with purple centers on these flowers, we don't want to be putting purple over brown. It's not going to... Purple tends to be transparent, so essentially it won't give us a nice bright purple if we do that. We could use a very high coverage purple, and we're going to use runic purple, and it is pretty high coverage, but we can make it look even brighter if we put it over white. I do need to trim this center a little bit. There we go. It got a little out of control. My white dot got a little bit out of control. There we go. Much better. Now let's just read. Everything is tiny but the dragons and giants. Yes, exactly. Oh, where's my runic purple? Runic purple. Is that you? Nope, that's Kalian wine. It's cleverly disguised as runic purple. There we go. I see it. Runic purple. 9424. That's what I said I was going to do for the Patreon jelly for a special offer. Actually, it's going to take a while, so don't expect it like anytime soon, because it will take a while. Hope it that sort of chart. Well, now it's good that I didn't do it, because now I don't want to include the like any colors that were canceled. So. Because that would be kind of a waste of time. So, all right, here we go. We've got our runic purple. Going to put just a drop of water in it. Where's my dropper? Here's my dropper. Boop. But yeah, jelly, I've been talking about doing for a special offer for my Patreon. I've been talking about doing a PDF that will have like saturation and light dark values and coverage values for Reaper paint. Probably would start with the Bones line. But it is quite the undertaking. I'll have to swatch out everything relative. Is that going to be bright enough purple? I think I need to add white. Because these centers of these flowers are so tiny, it's hard to get that purple to read as bright as the yellow. So what we're going to do is search out, let's see, where's my other purples? Not that one, that one. I'm going to grab some Monarch purple, which is it looks very dark, but it's very intense. I'm going to see what I can get with, maybe help out our other purple a little. I'm going to mix a little Monarch and a little bit. Yeah, Monarch is a little bit bluer. So I think I might do that. And then pop the highlight with Runic. Monarch is one of my favorite purples. 9239. Mo, it really depends on your taste. I mean, my favorite... I actually did a giveaway with purples before, but two of my favorites are Runic Purple and Monarch Purple. The other purple that I tend to reach for is a Bones Purple, also Sticks Purple. That's a nice dark purple. Really, with those guys... And then when the Kickstarter stuff comes out, Orchid Purple is even more red, like a raspberry color. These, you could do almost everything with these 4 plus Clear Magenta. Clear Magenta is useful for adding saturation and highlights to purple. So those are my go-tos. Those are pretty much the purples I have in my drawer. And my drawer is the Reaper paint that I use the most often and find the most useful. So one thing I do need to do is mix a highlight for this bag. Do I want to texture it at all? I don't know. Let's see. Let's just put some randomized brush stipple on it. And then maybe I can take that and alter it. I do not know what color Druid Skin is, because it is not in the line that I have. I made the Master Series line, Joe Ferk, so like I was the one who made the paint and created all the colors. So I'm not. I test other people's paint lines that come out as long as they're like, you know, relatively easy to get in this country. But I haven't heard of Druid Purple. What line is it from? Or Druid Skin, sorry. But really, in general, what you want is you want a mixture of, you want a good dark purple that you can use for shading. You want some nice, a couple of nice intense purples that don't have any black in them. That's why I like Monarch Purple, because it's a dark purple, but its darkness is due to the blue pigment that's added. So it is not, it doesn't have any black, which is very useful for mixing. And you want a nice saturated lighter purple like Runic with good coverage that you can work from. What paint line is it from, Joe? Do you know? Like, who makes it? Because I haven't heard that one at all. And I'm intrigued. Trying to get some of these, some little suggestion of kind of like a texture on this little thing she's got. I just want something random and interesting. I just don't want it to be blank. I could do a rune or something on it, but meh. I just want like kind of a random stipply pattern. Yep, sure, go check. We're all paint addicts here, so, you know, we've got to know what a new paint line is out there. Now I'm going to put a glaze over this, I think. Ooh, that's way strong. Forgot how strong my Monarch Purple is. I was overpowering everything. Just thought I wanted like kind of a randomized pattern or texture up here on my plant container. Now I can kind of put that glaze over my flower centers and bring them up a bit with some highlights. Oh, hey, Miniatures Den. Thanks for the mega raid. Looking. Very cool. Yes, defend against the raiders. And by defend, we mean embrace them wholeheartedly and make them sit and watch us paint. Well, thank you for the resub there, Miniatures Den. Awesome. Oh, and thanks for the resub, MG photo. Oh, hey, it's your 1 year. It's your 1 year anniversary. Yes, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh, noes. Alpacas, indeed. I am just trying to touch up. I'm annoyed at this little flower right now. So, there we go. There we go. So, we're working on a model that we've almost completely finished on stream. Guys, today. Juliana Herbalist by Bobby Jackson. She's a fantastic little character model. And we've done everything on her has been done on stream, more or less. Yeah, Luca, welcome. Welcome, everybody. The only problem with you rating us, Luca, is that you always rate us like 10 minutes before the end of my show. But that's okay. I had a dog emergency in the middle, so I'm going to go a little bit late today. My old dog just sometimes needs to be rushed out, so we lost a little time earlier in the cast. I'm just highlighting these little flowers. I'm not, like, you can see they're not like, yeah, there we go. They're not like a real strong purple. I can make them a little more intense if I highlight and then glaze with a more saturated purple, like a clear purple or my monarch purple. Oh, is there a metallic purple? Yeah. Yeah, we have a metallic purple with Reaper paint too, Sparkling Amethyst. There we are. All right, that's purple enough, I think. And we did our little texture. I still want to highlight that a little bit. I'm just like gonna scroll up. Oh, Drow Silver. I see. I see. Yeah. Okay. Now I recognize it. That's Sadie's color, actually. Sadie and Ron made up that color. That was made. Drow Silver was made after I moved out here to the West Coast. Sadie took over my paint duties. Just gonna put some highlights on this little canister that she's got. And yeah, so Katie made the Drow Silver. Bye, Shadow Raven, have fun. It's almost my food time too. Well, I mean, Purple Rocky, what you gotta ask yourself, Hyper Bunny, is how bright of a purple do I want my Rocky to be? Like, that's really your first question. How bright does it need to be? Do you want a more moody Purple Rocky, or do you want a really bright, like, smack your mama in the face Purple Rocky? Don't smack your mama in the face, actually. But, you know, you get what I'm saying here. Let's see, yeah, I think I need a little bit more. That's where you start. Like, that tells you what your grounding purple should be. And then you pretty much work it all off of there. Because, like, if you're moving toward a more muted Rocky that's not, like, super bright, then you pretty much are thinking your shadow color is probably going to be Styx Purple or Nightshade. Yeah, I did Quindy. I did the Pathfinder line. But if you want really bright colors, then you are... then you probably don't want to use, like, Styx. You probably want to use something like my Monarch that I was just showing off for your dark color. And Monarch Purple is, like I said, it's dark, but it's very saturated, so you can see it right there as I've thinned it down. It's really vibrant. So if you're using a really kind of, you know, you want a brighter Rocky, then the Monarch Purple would be good. The key to purples is using magenta and white to highlight them. You can also, if you're going for a more muted purple, you can use skin tones to highlight them. I think I've demoed this on my Patreon, but I can't remember. The problem with having a Patreon that's been around for a while is that you just don't remember what you've done. You have to go and check. All right, so I've got my highlights on her plant thing. I think I want a little bit... That's pretty good, actually. I think I want a few highlights here. 1 second while I futz with bringing some stuff up. Val, I really would... I'd really watch that one because 9022 has a ton of black in it. I would make your shadow 9023. Go up to 9024 and then go up with pink from there. Probably a BCA pink, actually, if you've got it. There are definitely limits. Remember that skin doesn't have a lot of light-dark transition. I'm just putting a little bit of highlight on this area here. Just grabbing some. When you're putting little spot highlights, it really doesn't matter. I'm using an off-white for this. There we go. That's nice. That makes that little plant carrier look really nice. I like that. Good deal. Excellent. So yeah, when you're doing skin, remember you don't have a lot of drama with most skin tones. Oh, I got yellow on myself. I yellowed myself. No, it happens. That's why I use cheap construction paper for my backdrop. Well, you don't need 4. I would just use a triad that's more like 90-23, 90-24, and BCA pink. For those who are watching us who don't know, BCA pink is breast cancer awareness pink, and we give it out for free during the month of October. It's a lot like the old Games Workshop tentacle pink, if you remember that color. All right, so we're doing, what are we on? We've got the flowers taken care of now. We need plants. And we have very little time, but we're going to do plants. And I've got my ancient oak out, which is what I use for those leaves. And I've got another green. I've got alchemical green. So let us go with that. Go with those 2 colors. Yeah, Pathfinder is a lot. Yeah, the orchid color is a great highlighter for purples. Just mix it into your other medium darker purples and then add a little white. Like seriously, you're good to go. All right, let's see here. Just do a mix of this ancient oak with alchemical green. You wouldn't think that ancient oak would look good mixed with a light bright green because it's kind of a grayed out bluish green, but nonetheless, it actually reacts very well when you mix a very yellowy, intense green into it. Especially if you're doing foliage, because you don't really want like a super bright hyper green unless you're doing very artificial grass. Now I'm just adding a bit of water to my paint so that it works well. Yeah, Pathfinder has a crap ton of purples in it. And lovely pinks as well. As you guys know, I use quite a bit of Pathfinder color on the show, including this alchemical green, which lately has worked its way into my the niche that Naga green used to live in. Even though it is lighter, it's a good highlight for Naga essentially. But when I want a softer green highlight, here I'll show you the color this makes. It's really pretty. So let's see if it's actually going to show up. I want some black in this frame to make it work. So it's a soft green that's really pretty. This is the ancient oak. Sadly it's reading a little bit dark right now, but you guys get the idea. I wonder if I can make it look lighter if I go like that. No, you guys get the idea. It's a nice soft green. Very natural. We'll be doing that on these leaves. The original purples that I did, Imperial Purple, is also a bluish purple. But red purples seem to be what most people lean towards, so you're unusual, Quindy. Yet another reason you're unusual. I bet you didn't know you had yet another reason to be unusual. So, I don't know, that's a little rough. A little bit thick on my paint, I think. If you don't like what you've done, you can often just take water and just sploosh it off. Clean it up. Remember, Raiders, if you want to give us credit for viewers, do refresh your window that you're watching us in so that you can be watching us on the Reaper channel instead of Lucas channel. And we appreciate it. Just trying to do like some finer lines there. That's more like what I wanted to do. Just suggest a little bit of texture on the outer edges of these leaves. You don't have to be perfect on this, and you don't have to be like totally symmetrical. You're really just trying to like add a little bit of visual interest and not just paint them flat. Suggest a little bit of plant texture, so to speak. And we can go from there and add in some of our candlelight yellow and a little bit of white if we want a further highlight. I like to mix my greens if I'm working with plants because I find that it gives me a more organic color. I don't get like just a bright green like this, I get something that looks more natural if I mix. So that's why I'm doing it this way. But this lets me suggest a serrated edge on the plant that may not actually be there. There's an awful lot of reasons, yes. For most of us, I think. So let's take our green. I might need to mix some of this other green. Just highlighting leaves. We're almost there, guys. We're almost completely done with this model. It's getting to the point where I just need a couple touch-ups. And then I can send it around and make his day. I think I like this model a lot, so I'd be happy to have it in Reaper's Gallery. There we go. See how just putting the little lines on there makes the leaves look more interesting. I do like this green. It's a very soft green. I am a fan of naturalistic greens. I really need to paint more druids or something. I don't know. I haven't been painting things that are very naturalistic lately. My latest project is very science fiction. Or in the case of the Valkyrie project is really dramatic. There we go. See, our leaves are coming along. She is a happy looking model. She's sunny and bright and she's out in the sunshine and we're successfully suggesting that. Yeah. This is a good practice for like making a model look like it's out in the sun. Like it really, it was a fun piece to do this way. And hey, let's continue with our leaves. Leaves. Sometimes I like to use silly pronunciations because I am a silly person inherently. On these little leaves just need just a little touch, couple little touches to suggest your texture. You don't have to be like super accurate about putting stripes on them. You just want to give them a little bit. Yeah, you could totally paint a goth version of her. Except I would recommend slicing off the hedgehogs and giving her spiders instead. I mean, even though hedgehogs are nocturnal and technically correct, it would still be much more gothy. I've got a little bit of yellow. So I'm mixing some lantern yellow into these leaves to get a very greenish yellow. Because I want, again, we're in the... yes, but add spider legs to the hedgehogs. There you go. That's creepy. But I want that touch of sunlight here. So for some of these leaves, I do want to bring them up a little bit yellow. Because when the sun touches stuff, it's going to make that yellow tones, kind of the very brighter greens come out. So just a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Little touches of yellow. Just along the edges. I don't want to totally overwhelm my lighter green that I put on there earlier. I'm just trying to get a little bit more. See how nice that is? That really makes those leaves look like they have a nice texture. Excellent. So I believe that this leaf actually might be painted in alchemical green. In which case, I think I'm going to highlight it with that and even more yellow. So now those leaves look really nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Might get down to the point where all we need to do is the base work. I need to figure out if I want to put some further texture on this base work or if I just want to go with the broccoli moss effect that Bobby has sculpted. I probably will go with broccoli moss. I'll just actually paint it with some like stippling to make it look nicer, which I started on before. So all right, little suspicious leaf. Let us paint you extremely bright green. Or at least let us highlight your edges with extremely bright green. I think I might have used cat's eye originally, or naga. So let's give this some bright little edges. And maybe a area in the center that's purple. Let's see if I can do it. I just want a little bit of a suggestion. Might be going too far with this. We'll see. It can be hard to put leaf patterns onto leaves because you have so little room. If I'm going to put this purple in the middle there, I really need to outline it. So I'm going to grab actually my blue liner, I think, and see if I can suggest. Sometimes it makes more sense to do lighter colors, but a lot of plants that have purple in the middle and it's darker. Let's see, so that's interesting. Let's see if I can put something more interesting in the middle. Let's see here. Just trying to get it like a vibrant purple in the middle and then maybe put, there we go, there's some purple. Let's go and get that highlighted. There we go. Just a little pattern. And I'm going to take some yellow and further highlight the edges of these leaves. Again, we're going to use the candlelight, but we're going to mix it in with a little bit of this alchemical green and white, which is going to give us a very kind of chartreuse color. We're just going to hit the top ends of the leaf. We want the outer edges to show up. So that's a very, very bright leaf now, and with a weird pattern on it. I'm just making a leaf. I just want it to be bright, so I am working it around here. Trying to give it a little bit of something going on. And since most people will look at the model from this side, I wanted to make sure it looked right from this side first. Now we'll add the purple to the other side. Paint some light into here first. Get my purple going on. This is mostly Monarch. It has a tiny bit of runic in it to liven it up. Give it that vibrant red purple. Dog, are you seriously gonna have another dog emergency? Like, is this double dog emergency day? Mercury was a little restless there. Hopefully she'll hold out. We're almost done with the stream. Just want to finish the pattern on this side of the leaf. That got a little dark. So I need to work on that. That's alright. I'm going to do my yellow while it dries because I don't want to run into a issue and make everything wet blend. My blue liner got a bit out of control. There, now we can come back and fix our purple. Just want to let it dry because you don't want that. You don't want to end up wet blending in that blue liner if it got out of control. You want to come back in with your nice bright purple. And not have smears or weirdness going on. This leaf needs a little bit more interest. The other side of the leaf is sculpted maybe a little bit better, or maybe it just, when it got on mold, it lost some detail. Right? Yeah, a little bit. And then I need a little bit more white to kind of bring up some little spots. And I'm just going to futz with it until it looks cool. I think the other side of the leaf is a little bit more cool than this side, because the sculpt is a little bit more deep on the leaves there. This one will definitely look weird, so. Mixing up some monarch purple and runic. I put a glaze over those white dots that I did. So we still keep the dots, but they get glazed over with a bit of purple.
I like that leaf, Ann.
You like the leaf? Cool. Yeah, we got it. We nailed our leaf. We've got a nice suspect looking leaf with purple dots in it that she is definitely dubious about. So good. Could use just a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like I need some more shading or something on the sides of this leaf. It's silly that the silliest little detail you end up sinking a bunch of time into sometimes. Just because the small details are so easy to get they can kind of look wonky just because they're just a tiny little detail. And so sometimes you have to go back in, add a little bit of shading. I think I want a little bit of my ancient oak here. Got a lot of yellow on this leaf and not a lot of darker green left, so brought it back in. Want to make sure the plant stem is separate from her finger. There. Excellent. There we go. A little bit of darkness there between her thumb and her finger. Only other thing I can see is maybe putting a little bit of highlight on the bottom side of these big broadleafs, because you'd have a little bit of reflected light from the environment. So I'm going to dot a little bit of my my leafy mixture onto the bottom of those. They'll look much tighter on the top, and that's just fine. And I forgot to highlight the edges there. There. There we go. That looks good. Well, guys, I think, except for the very groundwork and the highlight on the back of that hand, which I can hit tomorrow, and maybe a couple touch-ups. I can see a couple places where I need touch-ups. But other than that, she's pretty much done. Pretty much done. Oh, cool, clever. Yeah, I'm working with my DaVinci today. Oh, tile projects. This could be fun, Joe. Any big household renovations always make me kind of like go, I've never gone quite that far. I did forget to put another highlight on these flower petals, so let's do that. And then we will call it. Just have little... This is just like the time of the miniature where you think you're mostly done, and you're just going back and kind of checking over to see if there's anything that you forgot, right, to highlight, or that is just kind of sitting there needing an additional highlight or a shadow or some lining or something like that. I'm mixing up some white with candlelight, and I'm just going to hit the outer edge of these petals, at least the ones that are kind of sticking out into the light, to bring in a little bit more. They're not just yellow blobs at that point. Remember, you want, at the very least, you want a shadow, a midtone, and a highlight on little tiny areas. Unless they're in shadow, like if they're under the bag like that, you could get away with just the midtone and the shadow then. But anything that sticks out and is going to catch the light, if you've established there is light, Jelly, you stop, like, when you're satisfied. Like, for me, there will come a point where it's like, well, everything looks pretty good. And the amount of time I would have to put in to bring her up another notch to the next level would be just exorbitant. And wasn't my intention in starting on the miniature. So, that's really, I mean, it's done when you can't learn anything else from it. It's done when any other further tweaks are just too much work. It's done at that point, right? And it really depends on your intention for the model. Is it a present for somebody? Is it a competition model? You know, if it's a competition model, then you keep going. You keep going until you are happy with all of it. Yeah, it's the point of diminishing returns. That's a good way to put it. But you must be, Jelly. You must be. I mean, you gotta set realistic goals for yourself. That's the thing. When you're learning to paint, when you're getting better, you've got to set realistic goals, because there will come a point when you're just overworking it and you're not learning anything and you're not having fun anymore. So, like, that's the thing. You've got to move on to the next project, because there's only so much you can learn on every project. Every project's going to test a different thing for you. The first key to that, Dabber, is to stop washing. Start painting in your shadows. That's how you break that cycle. And then you're going to find out that you have a lot less to clean up on your model. But use your wash to paint in shadows instead of slobbering it all over everything. Oh, but art absolutely is finished. I think that people like to say that, but I think that it spreads a harmful fallacy, in my opinion. I mean, you could keep working on something, but like I say, you keep working on it, but eventually you won't enjoy it anymore, and you won't be actually working on it constructively anymore, and you're just overworking parts of it at that point. It's like, you gotta know when to be happy. When you look at the model, and it makes you pretty happy, it's good. If nothing on the model makes you unhappy, good. Move on to the next one. I do like the NMM cycle. It was fun. Cool, Brozard. Yeah, just, take your time. Pay attention to your paint consistency and how much paint you have on the brush. If you're going to try layering, make sure very little paint on the brush. And unload it. After you dip it in the paint, unload it a little bit to get more paint off of it. Yeah, Quindy, I do the same thing, but just because my clients, like, complain if I don't. For my own models, I tend not to remember to sign them. I know who painted it. But yeah, for my clients, when I do a commission, I do try to sign it with my initials and the year it was done. All right, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with her. Like, I could put a little saturated up here maybe. Could add a little bit more detail. But in general, other than little touch-ups now and finishing the base, I'm pretty happy with her. For me, it's like, it's not like, is she perfect? You never ask, is it perfect? Perfection is just like the enemy. But you do want to ask, like, okay, can I see this model in Reaper's Gallery? And would I be happy seeing this model in Reaper's Gallery? And if the answer is yeah, then I'm pretty much done. Like, I just need to finish the little broccoli down here and touch up like places like the back of her hand. And I've got a little bit of rub off here at the top of this shoulder. So stuff like that. Little tiny touch up. And then I do need to put some brush on sealer on her if she's going to go in the mail. I usually don't seal, but if I'm going to mail a model, I do. Just put a little bit of brush on sealer over her. There. A little bit of highlights. Highlights of the leaf. The leaf is definitely showing up well now. Yeah. I like the leaf now. But for me, there definitely is a point where I'm more or less satisfied with my paint job on a mini, and I really want to move on to another mini. For me, finishing minis must exist because I get bored and want to move on to something else. Therefore, it's done. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I forgot the little NMM highlights on the back of the little sickle handle there. Like, so, yeah, when you think you're done, just do one more pass and go, all right. Like, look at each little detail. Make sure you didn't do something like forget highlights on your little NMM bit like I just did right here. So I just popped that highlight on there so that it's good. You'll forget little things like that as you go. Especially if you're doing like this, you're painting on stream where you get a lot of distractions and you're talking about a lot of different topics and you may not, you know, you may kind of lose your track of yourself here and there. I will be, speaking of streaming, I'll be streaming again this afternoon, guys, at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I still have to work on those Dark Sword Targaryens. I was struggling yesterday with the NMM on the female model. So we will continue to work because Jim needs those in order for you guys to buy them, those of you who are interested, I know. A couple of you are very interested in them. They're a nice little trio. All right, there we go. So yeah, so I just have a couple of things. Hey, old man new. We are here. You're here actually just for the ending of the stream. So yeah, so tomorrow, guys, maybe what we'll do is we'll finish up her broccoli, and then maybe we'll work on snack space, because I base coated it all dark, but I need to highlight the stones in line with the light sourcing. So Snack has she's also got a few things like that need to be finished, like her metal and stuff, but yeah, so we might work on Snack space tomorrow. And I've got to figure out my little water effects here. I probably am going to put down a layer of realistic water, paint it, and then put another layer over, or not realistic water, sorry, water effects. And then paint it and go back over the top. We'll see. Yeah, it is. It's freehand. Stripes are one of the easiest things to freehand. You pretty much just make lines and then widen them out. But yeah, so Snack, yes, we'll do. I like Snack. She's cool. So yeah, I'm trying to just finish some models that were really close to done, so that they can get done. And these little hedgehogs turned out so cute. But yeah, so there we go, guys. We got a lot done today. Look at, wow, it's almost completely done. Yeah, I'm still thinking about how I want to do them because they're so tiny, Dogfather. I need some volume for them, which is why I think I want to put them on with the sculptable water effects. Like, I want to make my little waterfall bits, like, kind of with the water effects, and then I want to, but I don't, the problem is it's so shallow and so tiny. I'm making such a tiny little waterfall here that it's like, well, do I really want to do that? I may simply, the better answer may be simply to paint this as if it's water and then to do the effects over the top. But it's really difficult because you've only got this little stream and then this little tilt where the water is going to come down in a little tiny fall, and then it's going to hit this, and it's going to go around this rock in the center, and then it kind of goes down these little stepped rocks on the bottom and goes down into this little pool here on the bottom. So that's water. That's where the water is. And yeah, so it could be difficult to figure out how exactly to do it. We will find out. Because it definitely is a tiny waterfall, and it's probably going to be much simpler than a big waterfall. All right, peoples. Let's call it. The Kiri dog needs to go out. Wow, we went late, but we got that nice big raid from Lucas, so I didn't want to disappoint you guys. I wanted to actually continue to talk and to get you guys some eye candy. So yay! So yeah, we will continue on our odyssey of trying to finish things tomorrow, and probably do the base, finish her up, check and make sure I've got to do some highlights on her skin on the back. Then she's pretty much there. Then Ron can have her. Yay! Thanks for showing up, guys. And I hope to see some of you on my stream this afternoon. We had fun yesterday. We have fun when Anne agonizes over crazy black chainmail NMM. Like, we have lots of fun with that. But yeah, for 4:30 a.m. Central. And then later today on Reaper, we have... Do we have anything? Nothing. That's right. Today. We still have no Luca.
Correct. And that is 100% because of me.
It's all Justin.
Luca's ready to go.
Blame disembodied voice. Fault, so. Yes, blame the disembodied voice, guys. Totally.
Luca has asked me a handful of times, and he is ready to go. It's the ball is in our court, and that's where the hang-up is currently.
Yeah,
it's not a hang-up, but we're just processing stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have a million things going on. We're trying to get the studio ready for the 100th episode, and we have to set design and things like that. So it's other stuff, unfortunately, is taking priority. So
that sounds about right. That's a Reaper. Yeah, who are we raiding, Justin?
I think we're gonna raid Sky Daddy since she is doing a Halloween-themed body paint.
Oh yeah.
Also, I wanted to let everyone know that I found this information out a little bit earlier, but I believe tonight Holly Monster is doing a 2-year anniversary stream.
Oh.
So make sure to check out Holly. She's gonna be doing some fun stuff. So in fact, she might be lurking in chat right now. I don't know, but make sure to check out her stream tonight because I believe she's doing a 2-year anniversary stream. So
that's super cool. Awesome. Alrighty. So
Thank you guys very much.
And go say hi to Sky Daddy. She's a super positive body painter that we love, and she loves us. So definitely have fun watching her stream, guys. And thanks for showing up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Exciting to see minis taking shape here. Awesome. Super. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Thank you, guys. Keep being awesome. Spread the Reaper love, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning for some more Anne. See ya.